We'll go in there, we'll make proposals, and we get back, well, here's our counter after 3 hours of negotiating, and this is a screenshot of the webpage of, what our current policy is.
It's been, for me now, looking back, exactly what I would have expected from Apple, both as an internal employee, knowing how Apple likes to talk to itself about their ideals and actions and things. They're master gaslighters.
Companies are nothing more than a collection of people. And so by extension, all companies should have values.
And then we're also seeing the tactic of draw it out for as long as humanly possible.
In June 2022, workers at an Apple store in Towson, Maryland voted to unionize with the Machinists Union. 2 years later, they're still negotiating a first contract with the tech giant and are nowhere near the finish line.
The biggest things that we're going for is fair wages, fair raises to keep up with inflation, to keep up with the cost of living, to be able to work this job and to be able to, afford a place to live and your groceries and your transportation, and living comfortably without having to struggle. We were asking for 6% wage increase. Seeing the profits and seeing things like, huge stock buybacks and things like that, it gets you a little upset that we're negotiating over trying to get more than a 2% raise or something like that, right? It's showing that clearly there's money there.
Workers invited us behind the scenes during their most recent round of bargaining and revealed a dark side of Apple that has emerged since they won their election.
And I've always been an Apple fan, especially when it comes to the technology, but I've really kind of opened my eyes to how corporations work. After
we won and we went into this status quo type state, there was it started off still a little rocky. It was a lot of relationships that needed to be repaired because the anti-campaign union was brutal, and it was meant to pit workers against each other.
If we do talk about the union or any of the issues that we've been having, it kind of feels like we have to keep things under wraps, even though that's not technically the case. It just feels like any kind of conversation that we have about the union is going to be punished in one way or another.
We're seeing 6 to 8 discipline-related conversations per day.
Right after we voted, they came out with a new scheduling system and scheduling policy that they did not roll out to our store. A lot of the things that they changed were some of the things that we were actually asking for, as far as being able to take one weekend day off or take 2 weekdays off consecutively, like a Tuesday and Wednesday if you wanted to.
For Apple retail in general, it's supposed to be that you have 4 hours of customer-facing time, and because certain things change with the hours of the mall itself, we've had to change our availability where our mall used to be open until 9 p.m., but now it closes at 8 p.m., which makes things difficult for people who work a second job or who might have kids that they have to pick up after school. We found that a lot of the women specifically who are affected by the scheduling and availability, mostly women of color, including myself. And then most of them are part-time and are mothers, whether they're single mothers or they have partners. They won't budge, and it's unfortunate, but it's affected a lot of us.
And even that currently is being kind of thrown in our face and thrown to some of the newer hires. Hey, Apple came out with this brand new system, but because we're stuck in this status quo state, this happened after we voted yes for a union here. So really, it's the fact that you have a union here that you can't get some of these the benefits of this new system.
We had this health and safety committee that we proposed on the third session or so, and it came from a place of COVID concerns and wanting to be engaged in in a routine around the store safety. Initially, they responded to us almost scoffing in our face type of energy, we already collaborate with the best health professionals. How could we possibly do we don't need this, okay? And then flash forward to, I don't know, almost a year later, an employee was visiting a different store and come back and tell me, oh yeah, they have this new health and safety committee at these other stores. I guess they don't have that at our store yet.
And now we're seeing kind of the effects of all of that, where we went from having 130-ish, 140 people in our store at the most to having 87 people now.
Once we started preparing to bargain and come to the table, that kind of went into the play of, well, you know, the union isn't telling you guys things. Like, why aren't you informed about what's going on?
Recent NLRB decisions have established that it's illegal to deny new benefits to union members, but the meager consequences are meaningless to the world's second most valuable tech company, with a market cap of nearly $3 trillion.
I think we may have had multiple sessions before we even got, you know, the preamble down, or you know, as far as locking down the address of the store.
We felt that there was not enough movement happening for the amount of time that we were spending at the table and trying to bargain. Apple didn't really seem like they wanted to work with us, which is why we ended up putting up ULP charges against them.
As a result, a mediator was hired to work with the two sides, leading to small but concrete progress. Last week, Apple and the union reached a tentative agreement on time and attendance. Financials are still to come. And if they don't reach an agreement, workers have already authorized a strike.
What we really hope for is there not to be a work stoppage. We really want to just get a fair contract. We really want to get these, you know, ULP charges, you know, taken care of. We want Apple to do the right thing, and we hope that all comes from, you know, negotiating in good faith and let's get a contract.
There's something magic about happens when you teach somebody how to utilize technology and make it relevant for themselves, and have that what we call wow moment or aha moment where you're like, oh shoot, this affecting my life in a legitimate way type of deeper meaning sort of thing. I think that's what really draws people in to want to stay. And that's who you want to be working here, honestly.
Of course, everybody sees like Tim Cook and all the executives during keynotes and during things like WWDC. But when people think of Apple, they're coming into the store and they're seeing our faces and they're talking to us as the experts. And Apple has this thing in their credo called, and it goes, the soul of Apple is our people. And if they really believed that, and if they really wanted to put their money where their mouth was, essentially, then they would, you know, bargain with us in a way that felt a little bit more fair and a little bit more like they actually cared about the people who are in the stores.
Thank you so much for watching our video. If you'd like to see more stories like this one, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to get more Perfect Union in your feed. And if you have any ideas for stories that you would like for us to investigate, just drop them in the comments below.